So it's late at night and I couldn't sleep, and originally I was going to have this whole vlog be posted the next day, and apparently cut 800 freaking units, over 800 units of fabric, and of course that was a no-go. I spent like 4 hours trying to fall asleep, and then I came back out and I was just like, I'm going to edit video or cut fabric. So I edited video. And hi puppy. And as I was editing this video, I decided to take out a large chunk of it because it was just me rambling. Because I've been in a very chatty mood these last couple of days. I just really want to talk to someone, and I just really was chatting to the camera just to have fun. And as I was listening to some of what I did, and I just finished listening to all of it again, is I kind of liked what I had to say in some of it. I had some really golden moments, and I was just like, I like this. It's really interesting, and I appreciate it. So I'm going to turn that into like a podcast kind of style. I'm calling these Let's Talk Podcast Edition. It's more like me talking, and there's not a lot going on visually. So you can do your own thing, whether it's, hi baby, whether it's just surfing the web, doing your own artwork, sewing your own material. It's just something to put in the background and listen to, and just do your own thing and pretend that you're just relaxing with a friend and we're just chatting. And I love those kind of videos now. This is like my new favorite thing right now. And so I decided to take that chunk that was going to be in tomorrow's podcast, because it's not going to be. I'm not going to be able to get that particular vlog out until maybe Monday. At the latest Monday, I hope. Fingers crossed, because I gotta cut out all 800 plus units of fabric. And hi baby. And I just I'm going to hustle hard and try to get that done by Sunday. That way I can do my filming of the different pieces of fabric, the different patterns, and put it in the vlog for Monday. So you're going to watch me cut a lot of these fabrics, but I'm not going to show you what the patterns really look like until the next vlog on Monday. And this is going to be a nice one. I'm going to have this whole screen filled with the digital version of my pattern, and then the other one is going to be a close-up version of the pattern as it is on the fabric, because the texture of the fabric distorts the imagery a little bit. So I wanted you to see how they look in person, because the digital version is going to be super sharp. The physical version is going to be just less sharp, although the manufacturer I use to print these fabrics does a sweet job. The colors are vibrant, they're pretty. It's just really great. So I got to get all of them cut out first so that I can do that. Well, I can't do that, so I am going to take out this piece and decided to just give it to you for tomorrow. Give you a little taste. If you want to listen to it, listen to it. If you don't, that's fine. But here it is. It is a great little well, it's actually, it was an hour long, but I cut it down to only 40 minutes. So here's a little, you know, podcast-esque kind of hang out with me kind of little video. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll be right back at the end of it. That was a nice lunch. So I got to cut these. It's been a couple of hours actually since I've had my lunch. So I got distracted by the YouTubes. I've been watching a lot of studio vlogs. I love to watch studio vlogs, and I just got majorly distracted. So it's time to work on my own studio vlog and finish cutting these fabrics, because I am way behind than what I wanted to do today, but I'm still determined to accomplish my goals. So I am cutting, I love this fabric. It is a sort of like summery vibe kind of fabric. It has dragon fruit on it and some of those big bay leaves. I forget what they're called, what type of leaves they're called, but I love this. sometimes when I cut these fabrics, I think about like what can I create with them, and it just makes me so happy. Like right now, I've been thinking a lot about what to do for my next pattern, for my next Blythe pattern. Or should I even do a Blythe pattern? Should I do a Barbie pattern? I don't know. I just got a lot. I just got a lot on my mind. I think I will do another Blythe pattern and then do a Barbie pattern next. I'm not certain. I want to bring back my pattern tutorials, my free patterns and the tutorials that go with it. But I think instead of a weekly basis, I'm probably going to do it every other week where I share a free pattern. Mainly because I don't get as much engagement from people for the free pattern, because a lot of times people just come for the free pattern and then they leave. But on the flip side, I get a lot more people subscribing to my channel because they want the patterns. So I don't know exactly what to do about that. For once, I'm not getting enough people who watch the videos, and for the other, I don't get enough people who subscribe to the videos. So we will see what I decide to do. It's something I am definitely thinking about, but I really need to start concentrating on this fabric. I am behind. I wanted to get 5 of them done before. I'm going to try to get them all done now, at least 6 of them. I want to get most of them done. So I want to cut out 6 of these patterns. And so what happens is, my goal is to do 10 patterns. 10 patterns is 12 each. 12 times 10 is 120, I believe. And that's 120 units of fabric that I'm cutting. So it's a lot, and it was a big goal. But it was a big goal giving myself, I think it was like 2 weeks. Yeah, I gave myself 2 to 3 weeks to get this ready. And I really want to get it done. And I did. I think it's like just a little over 2 weeks, so I don't know. All I know is I have all this fabric, and I really need to start distributing it, because some of it's not even in season anymore. I have Christmas fabric in here that's not even in season anymore, because I had this fabric since at the very latest, I've had this fabric since mid-November, and now it's already February, and I'm like, okay, you gotta buckle down and get this done, Alexandra. So that's what I'm doing. I wonder if I should cut out the lengthwise. So I do one all the way through the length of the fabric, and then I cut the width, because the width has to be cut in thirds. But I don't know. I don't know. I just do the stuff, and I try to get it as accurate as possible. I don't put it as it's exactly this amount. I put it as approximately this amount, but I try to get it exactly as possible. I only say approximately because I don't want people to be like, oh, it's a centimeter short. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. It's not exactly, because some of these are actually longer. So if you look at this one is actually longer. So it's going to be a little bit longer in width, but it might be a little bit shorter in length or something like that. So because this is extra. This is the accurate one, and then this is extra. So sometimes the printing people give you a little extra, just for, you know, just to be safe, because they don't want anybody saying, oh, I paid for, you know, 100 centimeters and you only gave me 108, because that happens. Oops, I meant to go this way. All right. Oh, I didn't need to fold that one up. I could have used it. All right, so now what I do is I take it out this way. So this is my scraps, which are the side pieces. And what I do is I then fold it this way so that I can do 50 centimeters. And I try to go a little bit over 50 centimeters. So it's approximately 50 centimeters this way. It doesn't help that this has like a little bit of extra on the end of the ruler. So it doesn't really help because I have to go into the ruler a little bit to figure out, you know, what to cut it. If I could just cut at the end of the ruler and not have to cut almost into the ruler, because that's just kind of hard. Awesome. Then I cut that out, and then I just fold. Yeah, that's about a square. So they're approximately 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters squared, each piece that you get. And then this is what I call, hey Bubba's, this is what I call a quilting square. I'm not sure if it's an exact quilting square because I'm used to US measurements, not the imperial measurements. So I'm not certain. But even if it's not like UK measurements or anything like that, I think it still looks pretty good. And I do put like what the measurements are. I don't say it's like I define what I consider a quilting square. So there is that. And so I just doing all kinds of stuff. Are you gonna go sit on my fabric? This is why I have to put things as pet friendly now. No, I'll fight you. He's kind of in a sleepy mood, but he's been already sleeping, so he's starting to get kind of playful again. I'm gonna be so happy when you become a lazy fat cat. Because I want lazy fat cat. I used to have 2 lazy fat cats when I was a baby. Well, when I was a teenager. Well, before actually preteen. I used to have 2 really lazy stray cats, and they were the best because they were super lazy and they purred really loud and they were just so sweet. They were sweet, but more than that, they were lazy. He's still in his kitten phase. I really didn't want a kitten, but you know, sometimes like there's people out there that will want a kitten, and I didn't want a kitten. I wanted a full-grown cat. But when I saw him, I couldn't. Something about his face was just like, I gotta have you. Would you stop trying to eat my fabric? People want these fabrics. I gotta save this for my customers. I gotta save this for my customers. There's a store near me, a game shop, which has 2 cats in their game store. I love that store. I think it's called Dragon Fantasy or something. I can't remember its actual name at the moment, but it is the coolest store. It is not too far from me, and I love it because they have the 2 kitties, and the kitties just run around and sleep. And apparently they've been there since the store opened. I've lived in this area since before the store was even there, but I wasn't into gaming until I moved to Dallas for a little while. You're gonna get put down if you keep messing up with my stuff. I know. You're getting put down. Mwah. Nah. But I love that store. There's another store somewhat close to me that actually is it's a very small mom and pop little, what is it called? It's a post office. And I love going there because they have a dog that her name's Tilly. She sometimes shows up at the store. Oh, I love that dog. It loves to get belly rubs, and I think it knows that I love to give it belly rubs, or give her belly rubs. Ah, you stop streaming everywhere. And I love stores with animals. It doesn't, like, I'm allergic to cats and I have a cat. I'm not deathly allergic to cats. I just have, what is it called? I get like itchy eyes and watery nose. I guess that's a good thing that I got a cat from when it's a kitten, because I learned that if you had a cat at a young age, your body kind of adapts to, what am I doing? It kind of adapts to the dandruff of your cat. Danny, you're gonna get down. Get down, Danny. And you don't have as much allergies, or at least that's sort of like the wives' tale, I believe. And I think it worked because I don't have that many allergies to Danny. So I guess it is a good thing I got him as a kitten, so that I can get used to his dander and I don't have as much reactions. Because I've had cats since, well, I've had cats since I was really young. I have pictures of me as an infant, and my mom has pictures of me as an infant in a baby bassinet, and the cat is sleeping right next to me. I mean, I've had cats. Oh, that sounded like a fart, but he's playing with the little door stopper. And then I lived with my mom until I was about 10 or 11 years old, and then I moved in with my dad. And my dad doesn't like cats, or he didn't like cats at the time, because he had a roommate that had a cat, and my dad had a waterbed. Cats and waterbeds don't mix, and especially one that likes to claw beds. Especially if you have a cat that likes to claw beds. But then I moved away, so I don't live with my dad anymore. I've actually lived on my own for maybe 4 years, 3 to 4 years, and I wanted a cat. And I didn't get the job that I wanted in November, and then I was starting to get my depression real bad in December, and then Danny arrived. I started looking, what happened was I was starting to look at cat videos and cat things to make myself happy. Just like, you know, funny animal videos and things like that. And then it went from watching videos of animals to I have 2 dogs, I want a cat. And so I was just like, here's a cat. He's actually an illegal alien, because technically I'm not supposed to have 3 animals in my apartment complex. But I'm hoping that they will turn a blind eye, because I had a boyfriend a couple of years back, and he had 5 cats in an apartment complex, and they also only allowed 2 animals. So, and I mean, he's not doing any harm. He's just doing his own thing. When I was a kid, we used to have so many animals in an apartment complex, and we still didn't get anybody onto us. And my mom said that they also was restricted to only 2 animals. So I just think as long as you don't have like multitudes of dogs or something like that, nobody really cares. And as long as you keep your nose clean, nobody's going to bother you about it. So, and I've always been a very good tenant, so I'm not too worried about it. But that is what it is. If I get evicted because of my cat, then I guess I finally need to go rent a house, because that is one thing I want to do. I think this is going to be my last apartment that I rent, unless it's an apartment with a backyard. But I think if I rent anything else, it's going to be a house. I really want to rent a house, but I don't really make enough money to afford a house. And with everybody coming to Texas, because I live in Houston, Texas now, with everybody coming to Texas, the property taxes have gone through the roof. And so even rent is really expensive. Kitty, you're going to get kicked off again. You're messing up with my stuff. Danny. And so I don't know if I'll be able to even afford to what is it called? I can't even afford to rent an apartment. I guess if I had a roommate, I could rent an apartment, not an apartment, but a house. I guess if I had a roommate, I could rent a house. I have a friend that lives in Austin, and she's thinking about coming back to Houston, and she was talking about, well, I think I was talking about becoming roommates. What happened to my cut line? I know you're here somewhere. There you are. And so I was just like, there we go. What happened to my scissors? So I was like, if she does come back to Houston, then maybe we could rent a house together, because then she has her cat, I'll have my cat, and then I'll also have my 2 dogs, and I'll have my, he's not fat anymore, hamster. Yeah, so my hamster's not fat anymore. I changed the way that I dress his box. I have a dwarf hamster, and he lives in I think a 10 or 15 gallon fish tank. Because he's a dwarf, I don't think it really minds living in a small tank. He also doesn't do much other than sleep and eat. I had a wheel in there for him. He never touched his wheel. I got him a ball. He never walked in his ball. So I had like the laziest hamster ever. And I put substrate in there, like a lot of it, like about 3 to 4 inches of like the substrate on the bottom, like the fluffy stuff. And he loved to dig in it, but then he just started going to like one section and falling asleep there. He never really explored or did anything. And I would like check up on him at night and things like that, just to see if maybe he's just nocturnal and I just don't see him. Nope, even days when I would not go to bed until 3 in the morning, he was still just being a fat hamster. And my dad bought these pucks for him, these little round, they're called yo-yo cups, and he loved them. So between the not working out and then eating the really yo-yo cups, which are probably really high in fat, he just got fat. He was starting to look like a regular hamster instead of a dwarf hamster. You know what I'm saying? And so what I did is, first I stopped giving him the pucks. I gave him the healthy hamster food, which he didn't seem to care. I mean, he was eating it. He wasn't, throwing a fit about it. And then I took the fluffy stuff that I was giving him, like 3 to 4, something like that, inches of fluff. I just put a bunch of it, smushed it down, put a bunch more, smushed it down, and then let him crawl through it. But he stopped crawling around in it. So what I ended up doing was I found this dust-free hamster sand, and I think it's also used for chinchillas. And I saw some people were using it in the cages, but they mostly use it so that the hamster could bathe. And I just used it as his substrate. I just put it all on the bottom. He adores it. He is the funniest thing. He loves to sit there and play with it. He makes like little, what are they called? Like sand dunes. He likes to make his own sand dunes. And he sits there with, like, on the wrong side, pushing sand through it, like he'll be pushing sand between his legs, but he'll be pushing it up the up the hill, and it just falls back down. And so he just keeps doing this, pushing it back up, and then it falls back down because he's on the wrong side. He's not in the right side when it comes to pushing dirt up a hill. So it's just like, it cracks me up. And he just has the funnest time. He just plays around in it. He just digs and plays and bathes and does his little hamster thing, which just makes me super happy because he was getting really fat. And I don't want him to be sick. I don't want him to get sick on me. Okay. Here is the length. Okay. Here are my salvage edges. I aligned my salvage edges because at least those are going to be parallel. Ugh. And this is only 2 freaking meters. But it's a pain in the butt. You should have seen it when I was trying to get this. I think what's making it such a pain is the fact that I'm using such a small table. I mean, it's a pretty average sized table. It could fit 4 people, but I need it's not like I have a table like Joann's has, that nice cutting table. I'm really jealous of their cutting table at the moment. But I was looking at getting a fold-up cutting table and putting it in the craft room. I found one that was just under $200. But being broke right now, I can't afford it, but it's one of my want-to-buys. So maybe if I sell some fabrics, I could afford a better table for my little shop. Come on. You see, this one got wrinkles from being on the bolt. And they just, I mean, the warehouse just puts it as, I mean, they just put it out as fast as they could. There we go. And it's my job to try and get as close as I possibly can, if not a little bit more, than what I promised people. There we go. This one has little froggies and shamrocks on it. I did this one once before and it made me happy, and it still makes me happy. I love the little froggies. Let's see, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So what I was really wanting is a cutting table, one that is foldable, because I already have 2 full tables in my craft room, and I need a 3rd now. And I mean, I have a really big craft room, but I just I need something that won't take up a lot of space, because I don't want to be constantly going around and tripping over a table. Because that's one of the reasons why I moved the configuration, because I used to have them lined up in the middle of the room, and I got rid of that situation because I was constantly having to go around both tables the long way, not the short way, so that I could go and sit down. And it was just becoming way too cumbersome. So what I ended up doing is putting one against the wall and then using the other as, because one of them's on casters, so it makes it easier to move around and move it around the bedroom. So I just do that, and I just really want this table, especially as I'm sitting here cutting this and having to like maneuver this fabric all over the place. It's just like, I just want to be able to roll out the fabric and cut it and just be so easy. But it's not so easy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm going through this fabric nicely. I think just sitting here talking to you guys really helps, because I am just chuffed. I think this is just the greatest thing. It makes me so happy. I mean, the getting things ready for the store is probably my least favorite thing. Designing and creating everything is like my favorite thing to do, and coming up with the ideas. But when it comes to sitting here doing the minimal, like the, what are they called, the menial tasks, the repetitive ones that are just like, some days I love those kind of tasks because you can just shut off your brain, listen to whatever. But lately I've just not been enjoying it as much. I think what I'm going to do for this little bit of my video is I'm probably just going to keep the audio and then speed up the rest of it. I think that would be good. I wonder how many I can get through in the next hour. That would be nice. I've been doing all kinds of procrastination on this one because I just did not want to sit there and cut up fabric for whatever reason today. It wasn't really what I wanted to do. Probably because I still remember getting it off that big old damn roll. I wonder, I'm going to ask if it's just a little bit extra just to have them cut each individual piece off of the roll and not like give me the entire roll as it is, because it was just, maybe it's just because this order was the biggest order yet. I think I spent like $2,000 on fabric. I can't remember exactly. So I'm just like, just trying to get this out. Because I just want to share it. I want to share it with people. Like this, this fabric is just adorable. And I know how hard it is to find fabrics for dolls. So I'm just like, I want people to have it. I want to share it with my friends. I think that's what's getting me to going on today, is getting motivated, I believe, is because I'm just going to say it here. If you're listening to this vlog, you get to hear it first. I am going to give away a couple of these fabrics, actually sets of them. I'm thinking of putting them in sets of 6 and giving them away to YouTubers who want to do a little review of the product, and also just to have the product on hand. If you are a doll person who likes to sew for dolls, I think that would be a nice little thing to have, especially if you're on YouTube already. And if you're watching my videos already, that's even better, because that means you get priority on, you know, getting a set of marketing fabrics. Because I always, so like each meter gets me 6 pieces, and I always set aside one of those pieces for marketing. I consider that my market budget or my market fund. Because you also have to, when you do stuff for business, you also have to set aside a certain amount for marketing. And so I wanted to set aside some fabric, and so that's how I do it. Is I set aside, what is it, 1/6 of my fabric for marketing needs. And so I get a little bit of fabric, and that's a nice bit of fabric. You can make a couple of doll clothes with it. I think when I was making my my witchy costume, there's a witchy costume I did for Blythe, and I actually went through 5 or 6 little pattern pieces to get that costume, and I only used up one of these. Well, I had more. I was using more than one, but I used up only 1 square of this fabric, and then probably about 2 squares. 2 squares of the fabrics total, if I'm trying, because I used 3 different colors, 3 different squares, 3 different, you know, I call these quilting squares, and I think I only used up 2 of them, if I'm being honest, because I had quite a bit left over of different ones. So I think you can, like, so let's say you make 4 or 5. Let's just say 4, so you can make 2 outfits out of each, 2 full outfits. And you're never going to use just this unless you're like making a button-down shirt or something, or a cute little A-line dress. But most of the time, these are just more for, like, what are they called? Hero pieces? I call them hero pieces. But you'll use these as your main fabric, and then you'll use like other colors for like accent fabric. So if you had like this green one, or like the one that I was doing, the frog one, you would use the frog pattern, and then you'd use like greens to go with it. Or if you're like if you want to use like the butterfly ones, you can use the butterflies and then put like whatever contrasting fabric you want with it. So that was my idea when I was making these, was to have them just be. I just want to talk. I might cut a lot of this out. I don't know. I just want to talk today. Maybe I should have done a live stream. I should have done a live stream. I'm hoping Kitty feels enough. Today is Friday, so I'm hoping Little Craft Kitty feels good enough to do a live stream today. Usually she has her live streams right when my boyfriend calls me, because me and my boyfriend have like a designated time to talk. He lives about a little over an hour away from me, so we don't have easy access to talk to each other. So we have like he designated like on the dot, he calls me every day at 7:30. And he's such a good boyfriend. And so we talk then, and then Little Craft Kitty, I think, has her live stream at like 8, and I'm still talking to my boyfriend at the time, or she starts at 7 or something like that, 8 or 7. Either way, she's usually live streaming when I'm talking with my boyfriend, so I'm just like, oh no, I want to watch the live stream, but I also want to talk to my boyfriend. And I didn't get to talk to my boyfriend yesterday because he was doing stuff for work late at night, and I was just like, no, I want to talk to him. At the same time, I want to see Little Craft Kitty. And I can't really tell my boyfriend I can't talk to him because I want to watch my friend on the craft channel and talk about dolls and Barbies. Yep, I'm in my 30s. It's fine. It's fine. You do what you do. You do you. I do me. We do what we want. We are young at heart. So when I was in college, about 10 years ago, I realized, now this is actually, so today, this is 2022. I actually got into dolls back in 2004. No, that's 2008 actually. I got into dolls at 2008, around that time period at least, and I got into BJD dolls. And that is when I realized, you know, there are artists out there that make dolls. And then it came to that realization that someone out there had to have made Barbie, because I always considered like doll stuff to be like child stuff. But then I realized there's a whole market for Barbie. There's a whole company for Barbie that's just dedicated to that particular brand. And so I was just like, well, I mean, what if I was a designer for Barbie, or what if I designed clothes for Barbie, or I did stuff for it, and I made fabrics and stuff for it. And so this whole idea of, you know, you had to do it, just because you're older doesn't mean you can't still enjoy something, because there's people out there who does it for a living, and I'm sure they feel just as much joy doing stuff for their company. I mean, it's probably a corporation like any corporation, but I imagine, like, how can you imagine working for the company Barbie or Mattel and be like that's what I do. I make toys for a living, or I make dolls for a living, and I am just like, there's no shame in that. So why do I feel shame for wanting to create stuff like this for it? And so I don't know. That was back in 2008, like I said. So that's what kind of like jump started this whole little obsession with making dolls, is that I just was like, you know, people out there do it for a corporation. There's nothing wrong with just doing it as a hobby, because you learn so many different skills while you're doing this, like not just your, you know, your eyes, but your attentions to details, your techniques when it comes to sewing. I learned like pattern drafting, things like that. There's all kinds of cool stuff that you can learn just doing stuff for small dolls. And I am just like, over the years, I've learned quite a bit. And if anything, I'm also learning a lot about businesses when I'm sitting here making the doll clothes and making my own store. I'm learning a little bit. It's kind of like when, what is it called? It's kind of like understanding, like if you are a business major, you will understand a lot about businesses, corporations, enterprises, and things like that, how they're run. But I am an artist. I have a graphic design degree and an animation degree, and I have 15 years experience in the field, but I have no idea about businesses because I never got a business degree. I never got, the only reason why I understand marketing is through contact with marketing specialists, because I work directly with them. So I just like, where was I going with that? I was just like, there's nothing wrong with having this type of hobby, and for me it's like a learning experience. You learn a lot about it, you learn a lot how to do it, you learn it's a kind of like a little trial for businesses, understanding like marketing businesses or business analytics or things like that. I mean, I only have like contact exposure because like I design stuff. I've done like website designs for companies that are all kinds, and it's different to work alongside people who already know it than to learn it firsthand knowledge. And I think that's what a lot of this, because I have only secondhand knowledge of these things, I don't have any firsthand knowledge of business, running a business. I only work with marketing people who work with the people that run the business, or at least they work with people like, I mean, I work with salespeople too, so I understand salespeople stuff. I work with marketing people, they understand marketing people stuff, but it's just like, I only have secondhand knowledge of it. I don't really have any practical experience, so this is kind of giving me some practical experience, and I'm really enjoying it. Not only that, but it makes me like think outside the box. It's better than doing logos and flyers and mailers and just random things all day. Branding stuff, co-branding stuff, making up brands. Oh God. It's just, most of that is just boring. I mean, it's boring because I know it and I've done it for so long. So when you do that for a business, it's business. It's work. Work is work. But this is my passion, and this is like my hobby. Yeah, if my hobby could become my job, then it'll still feel like a job, because someone told me a long time ago, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Well, I love art, and I feel like I work every day in my life. Alright, I hope you enjoyed it. I love that last bit. That last bit was like the gold. I was like, I rambled and I came up with all these different little thoughts and ideas, and I shared with you some of my past experiences, and I just thought, like, you know, it's a great way to get to know someone and, you know, their life a little bit. And I think I don't mind sharing that part of me to my viewers, because I think it makes me more personable and more human. I don't want to be super secretive and be like, oh, don't find me, don't do this. And it's like, I understand the reasons, because there are so many people out there who have such strong visceral reactions to, you know, people showing up to their house uninvited. And I don't want that to happen, but I also don't want to be so secretive that people don't get an understanding of who I am as a person. So I try to share little stories and anecdotes that, you know, or just me, you know, just me, information about me. I don't even mind that people know that I'm in Houston, Texas. Houston is such a big city. It's the second biggest city in the in the state of Texas, and is Texas like the third biggest state, second or third? I think it's the third, because I think Alaska's the first, then it's California, and then it's Texas, I think. But anyway, it's a big state, it's a big city, so I'm not afraid of people knowing that I live in it. And also, I just like my city. My city is my home. I was born and raised here, so it is my home. And I don't mind telling people that. I also don't mind sharing a little bit more information than I probably should. But I have a habit of sticking my foot in my mouth anyway. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you enjoyed this little talk. I was really excited about it, and I thought it'd be a nice little, you know, it's a long video, but it's a nice little, you know, something to listen to as background noise. And if you did something, you know, if you used it as background noise, great. If you didn't, that's fine. If you just skip to the end, that's great too. You know, these videos aren't, you know, there's no right or wrong reason to do these videos. They're just there. If you want to watch it, you watch it. Great. Thank you. But if you did and you watched it all the way to the end, thank you for your support. I love you. I did mention in the story, so if you got to the end, I'm going to give you a little bit of a little hint. I did do the same thing in my next video, which is my vlog. That one I also going to give you a hint. There is because I take a section of all of my fabrics out for marketing. I actually price them so that they go into marketing. I have my market budget that I added into stuff, and because I did that, I have fabrics to give away. I have, what is it? How many fabrics? So I have 67 patterns, and I have one of each pattern to give away to someone else, and then one of each pattern to keep for myself, because I want to keep them in my records. So the ones that I'm giving away, I have 67 patterns. Well, I figured I'm going to take it and divide it by 11? Yeah, is it 11? Let me do a calculating thing real quick. I think it's 66 divided by 11. Yes, I have 11. It's because I have one more. Someone's going to get a little extra, but I have 11 boxes for people who want to review this product. And if you watch my channel, I want you to be able to receive this free fabric. So if you have a YouTube channel, or if you have an Instagram, or even if you're on a Facebook group, just, you know, I just need you to review it somewhere. It doesn't matter where, and just let me know. I mean, I want to see what your view is, because for me, having some sort of information about what you did with the fabric and how it worked, what did you like, what did you didn't like, should I use a thicker fabric, because this is a lightweight MSG. I think it's like, how many MSGs? The MSG is like the thickness of the fabric, and I used one that's a lightweight because I use these for Barbies, and I don't like the seam allowances getting too thick, and thicker fabric means thicker seam allowances and thicker stuff like that, and it can become cumbersome. So I have these fabrics, and I'm just going to send them out for reviews and try to see what people think, and try to get a gauge of how these are going to react when I actually release them in my update. Which my update, if I haven't told you already, my update, yeah, I did in my last video. My update is March 6th. So open your calendars. My update for my store is March 6th, and I will be releasing all of these patterns for the public for sale. Now, I did price out what my woven linen fabrics are. The stretchy fabrics are a little bit more expensive than the linen fabrics, or the non-stretchy fabrics. So I know that the linen fabrics is going to be the cheapest one. For the linen fabrics, they are, I think it's like $4.25. I'm just going to say $4.25. They're $4.25 MSRP. For my store opening, I'm giving a broad 1 week sale of 30% off, which 30% off. Let's do that. 4.25 times 1.0, no, 1.3. No, that's adding 30%. 4.25 times 0.7. That means for your fabric, they are $2.98 a piece. So for a nice little thing like this one's one of my favorites. This is a fan art of Care Bears. I purchased this from someone and I thought it was adorable. Fan art is a little bit of a gray area, so I'm probably not going to do too much fan art when it comes to licensing. Technically, you are kind of going against a company if you're using, like, it's considered what? It's considered brand infringement or something like that when you're doing fan art. But fan art is such a given to a lot of people, and these are limited to only 12 pieces. It's not like I'm selling over 500 units of one piece or one picture. So I do know that, you know, that is kind of a little given. I've taken so many courses on the legalities of finding images, because we do a lot of images on the web, and so many people use like Google images that they just found and they're copyrighted, and then they get in trouble. So I did a lot. I've gone through a lot of corporate talk with a bunch of lawyers, and they explained some things to me, so I try to apply that to what I'm doing. They don't talk about fan art, of course, because that is like a subculture. And so and then of course there is a lot of talk about what's good, what's not, you know, if it's not. Personally, I have no quorums against fan art, and so I put fan art on fabric, so I have no problem with it. So if you do, I'm sorry. That my stance is that there is a gray area, but it's still okay as long as you keep it limited. And that's why I'm not going to re-release a lot of these fabrics. When I do any other releases, it's going to be more of a large release of my own particular artwork. So I own the full copyright for everything. I only own licensing for everything that I've bought thus far, including the fan art that I've bought. So, if you want, that was my little disclaimer. So if you want fabric, I'm coming back, I'm really happy, and I am, I'm giving away 11 boxes of 11 boxes of 6 fabrics. So if you want to be a part of this particular piece, I'm sorry for going into that little somber kind of note, but if you want one of these fabric boxes, send me an email. Here is my email address. Send me an email to this email address. Send me a comment saying that you sent me an email, because I don't check that email very often. Or just say like PM'd you or something like that, emailed you or something like that. And so I'll remember to go check my email. And just let me know. Let me know, 1, that you want the fabric. 2, what your plans are for the fabric. And 3, give me your address so that I can send it to you. If I do send it to you. I don't know. 11's a lot, and I don't really have many people. I have a lot of people, like I have a lot of subscribers, but I don't have a lot of frequent viewers. And I have like a handful or 2 of frequent viewers. So there's a likely chance if you want some fabric, I'll give it to you. I mean, I just want someone's honest opinion. And if I don't receive too many requests, and you just want to you know, type out your honest opinion about the fabric, what you thought, what you think, how it works when you sew, then maybe I'll even just let you have it and not even request a review, like a solid review on a social media platform. For me, like when you watch my videos or you listen to my videos, that means a lot to me. And I feel indebted to you for doing that for me. And so I want to give you gifts. That's how I do stuff. I know there's a lot of stuff in my past that's the reason why I feel that way. I talk to my therapist, she tells me, but you know, it's my way of giving back to the community. Yeah, I'm asking for something in return. Yeah, it isn't really necessary, but I do appreciate it. Well, it's kind of necessary. I really need people to spread the word and, you know, give me what they think, because I really want what they think. Also, maybe just give myself a little pat on the back. Yeah. Now, another thing, if you watch my next vlog and you look at all the patterns that are available, you can pick 2. I'm going to give you 2 patterns that you might choose from. If someone has picked one of those patterns before you, I'm sorry, you can't get that one. So 2 of the fabrics you can pick for yourself. The others are going to be randomly chosen, and you get what you get. I'm not going to let people fight over what they get. I'm just going to give them an option to pick their 2 favorites, let them know if someone hasn't already picked that one or not before them, and then let them choose again. And if they don't have any idea, or if it just keeps going back and forth, I'm just going to go random. It's going to be one of those. I've been watching a lot of those blind boxes. It's going to be a blind box. You get what you get. I mean, it's going to be fun. I think a blind box would be fun. A blind box of free fabric. How fun is that? Anyway, don't forget to send me an email if you want one. Love you guys. Love you, love you, love you, love you. Love all of you guys and gals. And thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for getting to the end if you got to the end. I could be a rambler. I know. I'm sorry. But I love you so much. Comment, email, like, subscribe, all those good stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye now. Yeah. Look at this hand wave. Oh, yeah. Oh, I like that hand wave. Oh, oh my God. I'm weird.